What is up, Los Angeles, and welcome back to your Rams LAFB Show. I am your host, Ryan Anderson. I am joined today by the Brittany McReynolds, Brittany Betts over there on the Twitter land. She's back on the show. I couldn't think of anybody better to talk to about this topic than Brittany herself. We are talking all things A.J. Brown, trade rumors, the trade that didn't happen, that got everybody up in arms over the weekend. But first, Brittany, it's been a little while since we've checked in. How's your off season? How are you feeling about this Rams team right now?
Hi, Ryan. Hello, Los Angeles. No. I am so excited. I don't think I could be having a better off season just in terms of the things that the Rams have done, my expectations. Obviously, going into the off season was a bummer because we should have been in the Super Bowl. We should have been holding up the Lombardi, but
Hmm.
like I said, we had some things that we needed to take care of. Great start. Um, I typically try to stay out of the Twitter realm on the off season. Like I don't know, like in my head, I'm
Smart,
like a player and I'm just taking
smart.
my time to, to step away from football. No. But I have been seeing all of the rumors, the tweets, the excitement, the disdain about us potentially landing AJ Brown, what would, be a part of that trade. And yeah, so we definitely have to talk about it.
Well, you definitely have reasons to be excited for this Los Angeles Rams team. Los LAFB Rams Show brought to you by FanDuel. Over on
Okay.
FanDuel, the Rams are the favorites right now to win the NFC West, to win the NFC Championship game, to win the Super Bowl. They top the charts for all of those. But
It makes sense.
I would like to point out that right behind them are those darn Seattle Seahawks. The San Francisco 49ers are now number 3 to win the NFC West, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Uh, but that's not all they have going on over there. They got plenty of NFL futures. But guess who else are the favorites to win? In the MLB, the Los Angeles Dodgers are currently the favorites to three-peat. LA, Los Angeles Lakers, not terribly high up there on those odds. They're about sitting around number 10 right now. But plenty else to bet on over there. They've got a really nice NCAA men's championship parlay going on. By your boys over at Bussin' with the Boys. They have parlay Duke, Arizona, Michigan, and my Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Yay.
Love that. Guess what?
Yes.
USC and UCLA women are in the tournament. UCLA men are also in the tournament. They are currently plus 25,000 to win it all. So don't.
Paula, go get that value, girl, on your team.
There we go. But I will say that the UCLA women are currently second in the odds, plus
Nice.
500. And here's one I like.
Nice.
Here's one coming out of left field. Italy to win the World Baseball Classic, plus $1,300. I don't know.
That's some value.
The espresso machine in the dugout, I think it's doing something for these Italians. They
Do
beat
they have one? I haven't. See, I have definitely been out of the sports world, but I know Mexico is out. Is Korea still in?
Japan.
It's just a lot going on.
USA's in the finals. Italy and Venezuela are playing today to see who's going to play US in the finals. And Italy beat the United States already in a weird game. Anyway, let's get back to the Rams.
I've been
Let's get
asleep.
back to the Rams talk. Rams LAFB brought to you by FanDuel. All right, so all of this was kicked off. It kicked off a little while ago. Diana Rossini reported quite some time ago. Well, it feels like quite some time ago to me, but that the Rams were interested in possibly trading for AJ Brown. This was
Dun dun
before
dun.
the Trent McDuffie trade. They were monitoring the situation after trading for Trent McDuffie. The Patriots and the Chargers were also in on this idea. Continues to go down, pops back up. Mike Florio talks about getting rid of Devontae Adams to bring in AJ Brown, a trade that would make no sense to me at all. But we
Right.
got to discuss what's real and what's fake. What does this trade mean? Or what do these trade rumors mean? The smoke, where there is smoke, there's fire. And what I have to say about the whole fire situation. Now, you can say what you want about Florio. I like Diana Rossini, but everybody's got their opinions on insiders. Adam Schefter was in on this. Ian Rappaport was also in on this. Lots of
Yeah.
smoke. But when I heard Jordan Rodriguez was in on this, she had some intel on it. That's when my ears really started to perk up and pay attention to it, because she's got so many good relationships within the building. She's really buttoned up about the inside information.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
there was smoke to this. So to you, what is the fire behind these rumors, and what is kind of the smoke? Just kind of the fakeness, the billowing silliness around it, I guess.
So when I first got wind and heard that we were considering going after AJ Brown, was I a little bit torn? Yes. Because, they say when somebody shows you who they are, you have to believe them. And I'm not saying that I don't believe that AJ Brown is a winner and wants to win. He is a Super Bowl champion. That's proven. However, we saw last season, if he ain't getting the ball, there's a problem, right? But what it told me, I'll back up and say what it told me just from the Rams perspective is that we're all in. And I mean, you can go back and you can look at the F them picks, just strategy, and the way that the Rams are all in has been trading away picks. And so that was where I was torn. Like, I don't want to give up our first round pick for AJ Brown. Okay. There's that.
Makes sense.
And then just the character fit. Is it going to be one of those situations where he's coming in and he's not going to be happy because he's not getting those touches, because we do have two other receivers that we have to get fed, with Puka still being there, and possibly, from what I thought, Devontae Adams was going to be our wide receiver 1/2, 2/1,
Yeah.
But I mean, that just the headline itself was a Les Snead headline. If I didn't see one, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Les Snead is trying to let everybody know that he's all in. He's trying to have as complete as a team possible for us to go after the Lombardi this year. No holes. And the Rams are the type of team where they'd rather take the experienced player over the future. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I know Rams Twitter and the universe wants us to get Mekhi Lemon. They want us to get a wide receiver with that 13th pick in the draft. And I hear you. But that's going to take time to not only learn the offense, to get in the offense, to actually get to have their fit, to get the feel, get their wet, have Sean McVay comfortable, because that is a huge,
Mm-hmm. Great point.
marker that we have to get past. He has to absolutely trust you to get on the field and get those. Like, the wide receiver 3 slot is huge. And I don't see a rookie coming in and just feeling that. You can trade the pick away, in my opinion. You can trade the pick away, get us a first round pick for next year so that we can try to figure something out for Joe Burrow, like you've been preaching. But in terms of this year, I didn't want to give up the 13th pick for AJ Brown, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, and I wonder exactly what those conversations were, because I'm on
Yeah.
board with you as well. Jordan Rodriguez saying it, Les Snead just signaling everything that he's been signaling so far. I mean, in terms of the fit overall, I was a little bit confused. It's like big, strong guy that's not super fast, but has an incredible catch radius. Well, you're talking about Puka Nacua right there, and you've got him. I mean, he's got a big contract around there, and I heard I saw a few people saying perhaps they shouldn't necessarily pay him. We'll just put that on the back burner. That's going to be a gigantic contract, but I mean, you got him in town. Let's keep him around anyway. But
Yes.
is it a pick swap that they were thinking about, where they would move back to wherever the Eagles are sitting, and they could move up for AJ Brown? There's lots of like permutations that you could imagine them trying to work something out. But yeah, I mean, as my co-host Aaron Coscarelli likes to point out, this is a culture fit team. Like there
Yeah.
was a big shift away from certain types of players, as McVay matured, as he went through 2022. They tried to run it back the best they could after the Super Bowl, and everything kind of, the wheels really fell off that team. I'll always think about you in the car after I can't remember which game we were sitting at, but you were livid with the performance of the team, and you just kept saying, "We suck, we
Oh
suck."
yeah, I know that game. A lot of people know that game. Oh my goodness.
But after that year, we saw the type of guys they really honed in on, those team first kind of guys, the effort first kind of players. And this offense does not have a lot of room for a wide receiver three, especially if they're going to do 12 personnel more, and if they're going to continue with 13 personnel more. I mean, Puka gets a lot of touches.
He gets a lot of touches. And going back a few weeks to a quote from Sean in regards to just how much he likes Terrence Ferguson, just him stepping into a bigger role going into next season. He also said that, yeah, he's a tight end, but the way that I'm going to scheme him up in my offense is going to be very wide receiver esque. And, don't expect just the normal tight end, type plays for him to get. Like he's going to be doing a lot of things, opening up the playbook for Fergie, I believe.
Hmm.
So yeah, that wide receiver 3 spot is definitely a question mark for me, considering Tutu's gone. Xavier Smith is gone. So there's our speed. There's really nobody to take the top off for us.
Mhm.
Um, so that does kind of make me think like they're looking at the kids in college, right?
I mean that.
Smaller wide receivers, just a lot lighter feet, quicker, younger, a lot more upside.
Well, yeah, 100%. They need to add speed to that room. Period, hands down. I mean, they paid $10 million for Tutu Atwell to do that, and like he didn't get a lot of catches out of the deal, but still on the field fairly often, healthy scratch sometimes. I don't want to get back into all of the Tutu Atwell. The draft seems like the smart way to go. One, the money situation, but also Devonte Adams probably is not going to be sticking around a long time. I
Right.
mean, even now the question with Devonte Adams on the roster is, last we heard, no movement on his contract. He's currently a $28 million cap hit. That's one of those things where I wondered if they were throwing him out there in terms of a trade piece to be like, this guy, maybe we haven't talked to him yet. Should we start looking for other options? But wide receiver 3, I mean, it makes sense for the draft. Do you think that they are looking currently within free agency, or
I think
continuing to look for trades? I mean, you look at what's happening up with that team up north in red. They added Mike Evans, and just today they added
Christian Kirk.
Kirk. On
Yeah.
top of Ricky Purcell, on top of George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey. I mean, I mentioned at the top, FanDuel odds, it goes NFC West, Rams, Seahawks, 49ers. I mean, we'll see how that all plays out long time before the season goes. But I mean, what are there any guys out there that particularly pique your interest from a trade perspective or free agency that you can think of, or a draft? I mean, you seem to be out on 13 for wide receiver.
Well, it's not that I'm out. It's that I know that that's going to be more of a future pick. So I'm thinking about this year. I'm thinking about possibly retaining Stafford for maybe next year again at most, right? And
Sure.
so I particularly, as a Rams fan, knowing what Les Snead has done, knowing the moves that they've made in the drafts in later rounds and trading away picks and, taking packages to move back, I know that they're capable of finding these like diamonds in the rough and these gems in the later rounds. So it's like, if you're not desperate, that was Les Snead's word. If we're not desperate, I don't think that we need to make a splash there for the name. Because when you think back to a lot of these wide receivers, first round wide receivers in the last, just in the last decade, how many of them are actually wide receiver ones? Like how many of them are have actually played to the caliber where we have taken Puka Nakua in the 5th round, and then you go back to even, a Cooper Cup, he was what, like 3rd round, 4th round pick.
Third round. Yep.
We've made things happen without having to push all of our chips in for one player offensively. And I love that and I appreciate that. And so that's why I'm not going to say that I'm hesitant about the 13th pick, but I just know that if we weren't to use it and weren't to go after a wide receiver, I know there's another kid, Ty, what is his name?
Oh,
The other
I want to say Chandler, but that can't be right because I think he was already drafted. But he's
no. There's another kid that's a receiver.
Yeah, out
And he
of
would be a
Arizona
good fit.
State.
So it's like, I wouldn't be upset with it, considering that we have to have some sort of plays made that look towards the future. But I also know that they like proven talent, and they can do a lot of things in later rounds in the draft. So I'm telling you, when I heard the news about the AJ Brown and how we were still in it and we were like trying to outduel with the Patriots, where he'd probably want to go considering his history with Mike Vrabel, he'd stay on the East Coast, that type of thing. But we're still in a bidding war. I was like, oh my God. Let me tell the Los Angeles Public Library, do not let that man come and get a card. Because if I see him on our sideline reading a book, I am going to lose it. I'm going to lose it.
I kind of loved that just because if I have to wait in the waiting room or sit around somewhere too long, I got a book with me usually.
You'd rather have a book. I get it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But you can't do that on my team. You cannot do that to Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay and me. I'd lose it.
Fair enough. Season ticket holders got something to say about it. All right, there's 2 names out there that kind of persist just in terms of free agency. I haven't heard anything about interest in either one of these guys. They're just the 2 guys at the top of the list of free agents.
One Juwan Jennings.
Juwan Jennings, and the other one is Stephon Diggs. Now, Juwan Jennings at times looked phenomenal in the 49ers offense. Stephon Diggs, is he going to be happy in a wide receiver 3? There's also a big culture fit question with him, a little bit of a diva thing with him as well. So
this goes back to Aaron's point. Like, I think that both of those guys are like AJ Brown-esque, where we know that they have the athleticism and they're more than capable of getting it done on the field. But as far as a culture fit, no. Do you remember I don't even remember who the Niners played, but
he punched him in the man zone.
Something crazy happened where Juwan Jennings and the guy was like, that guy says some of the craziest stuff that no man should ever say to another man. Okay, yeah, no, I don't need that. And then even with Stephon Diggs, he got a case, he got to fight. He got too many baby mamas. We don't need that type of drama at SoFi. Okay.
Well, and the other one that pops up occasionally over on the Twitter land is Tyreek Hill, and he's got even more drama than everybody else.
Can he heal first? This is the same category of players as far as attitude, character. It's like under the Antonio Brown tier of.
Well, I mean,
shenanigans.
Looking at the Christian Kirk contract, I'm kind of like, how did they let that one go? One year, $6 million.
When I saw the money on it, I was just like, okay, it's a perfect fit.
When the Jags paid him a ton of money a couple of years ago, I was like, okay, let's pump the brakes on Christian Kirk. But going back to his Arizona days, I was always kind of a Christian Kirk fan, and as a wide receiver 3, I really kind of like that. But
he did a lot of cardio in that Texans offense, but I mean that was a very struggly offense. So
yeah,
he'll definitely have a lot schemed up for him with Kyle.
Yeah, they seem to be able to really rotate guys and have one guy go off, and that goes back to the running backs too. Back when the pre-Christian McCaffrey days. Anyway, we don't need to talk about them anymore
at all.
At all. Yeah, so I think we've identified wide receiver 3 as this kind of area of need. are there other areas of need that precede this one that they didn't address in free agency? The kind of the one big one that's still kind of lingering out there for me is defensive line depth. So one of the positions I kind of identified was defensive line, some rotational depth there. Just not a lot of depth behind the front runners, and kind of one guy I've been pointing to for years is Calais Campbell, maybe just because he's around my age. So I always like that when guys around 40 are still in the league. Just gives me a little hope for getting my NFL dreams met. So what are some areas of need that you saw coming out other than wide receiver 3?
Well, we've obviously shored up the secondary, which I'm the utmost grateful for. Which to me means like you're actually bringing the attention to the D line for me, because my thought was that everybody up there except Kobe Turner is expendable. But considering that we don't have too much depth, we'd probably need to hang on to all those guys and get some, some more help there.
Okay, so like I've tried to tier those 4 guys, the 4 draft picks, least expendable to most expendable, and in that order, I say Jared Verse, Kobe Turner, and then Byron Young, Braden Fisk flip for me daily, basically. So you're saying Kobe Turner, obviously a team leader, very productive. What's your thoughts on the rest of the guys?
I think that I like them all. I think that maybe as fans, myself included, we gave them a little bit more credit, too soon. The fearsome foursome was a little too premature, I'd say. I think that Jared Verse, there was this whole thing about Jared Verse versus Will Anderson. And I defended Jared Verse, not to say that he's better. It was a point where I was like, well, and this was the beginning of last season, it was like a 1A, 1B for me, right? Like you can't really go wrong with either one of the guys. But Will Anderson is an absolute monster. Just the level that he's on, just the progression that he's had in just a short period of time, the way that he can finish and get home, it's insane. Jared Verse just needs to get polished some more, right? So him still being so raw, him still, having a little bit more work to do, that gives me hope, and that lets me know that he still has a lot more upside, but I just haven't seen enough. And for him to be so chatty, for him to always, to have so much to say and to essentially take on the role as a leader on that defense, I need more from him. I think that Byron Young, he clicked on really early last season where he led in sacks, and we would see flashes, and then it was just like he slowly just faded and fizzled away. Braden Fisk was dealing with some on and off injuries there, but I think that they had a lot on their shoulders, and I think that they wanted to take on they wanted to prove a lot. They wanted to take on a lot. And instead of just knowing your role and just getting it done, there was a lot. Like Jared Verse said in that interview, they let Matthew Stafford down. They let the whole defense down. Mentally, they were just really complacent.
So they had no answers.
So if they can get out of their heads, can they get out of their own way? It's like, oh, I hated hearing that. Because I knew it, I felt it. We're up 16. Let's just not play anymore.
Well, and they, they had so much on their plate, because there was no back end, and the back end should help the pass rush out a ton now that they made. Yeah.
Tremendously. But I still think that if we would have went all out on the pass rush and
he's still Sam Darnold.
Just made some magic happen.
I mean,
I wouldn't have been upset, but yeah.
Yeah, heard. Okay, yeah. So defensive line depth, wide receiver 3. Yeah, how are we feeling about the linebacker core?
You said the linebacker core? We're going to need a linebacker.
We're going to need another.
We're going to need another linebacker. Yeah.
All right.
That's just what it is. And I mean, I think that this next draft, you can get somebody in the later round. Like, think about Omar. You got him. He was an undrafted free agent. And I particularly like him. I think that people are really, really hard on him because there have been clear instances where he's missed a block, he's missed a tackle, he's missed a play. And even the was it the 2-point conversion against Seattle, one of them, or I don't know if it was his man or Nate's man. And it's just like, I mean, Rams Twitter was just livid, like, Omar, oh my gosh. So we need a linebacker, we need one more, just for depth purposes.
They're a little bit limited. Absolutely. 100%. Both guys. I would say Landman was a surprise last year. And I think Omar, has played his heart out for sure, but they're not the top of the league. I guess that's all I can say about it. And if they are going all in,
but we haven't had top of the league linebackers. Well, I mean, it's been a decade.
Yeah.
Plus.
I mean, I still have my feelings about Ernest Jones traded away.
That was a weird situation. And it just, business, personal, him moving on, it still seemed like he had a lot of resentment towards the situation, which, I mean, I guess I'd understand if somebody was like, we're done with you. But
there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So AJ Brown, according to the latest reporting, the Rams have put the pause button on it. That's not the stop button.
Yeah,
so we'll see. They're talking June 1st. What happened? A little TO, a little timeout. We'll see what happens. They're saying June 1st is kind of maybe when the trade talks will pick back up. So
maybe they need to chat it over with one of our new wide receiver coaches to see how he feels. Bobby Trees.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, definitely a culture guy.
That's something that we didn't mention.
A culture guy there. I mean, he established early on kind of that room, what it was going to look like as the veteran president.
I know. There would be no Cooper Kupp if it weren't for Bobby Trees, and then if it weren't for Cooper Kupp, there'd be no Puka Nacua. And I mean, Bobby Trees, you set the precedent. Like, you are top of all of that.
I think that's all we've got for today. Any other takes you want to fire off while you're here?
No. Stay hydrated, everybody. It's a scorcher.
Yeah, 100%. And it's the off season is always fun. We're going to be doing our run up with the draft, with perhaps something fun planned for the draft. So stay tuned for all that. I'm getting back together with the Will Decker, draft expert for LAFB, to talk about the offensive side of the ball.
What's up, Will?
Yeah, Will Decker back in the mix for sure. So we'll have that show up this week as well. And Aaron Coscarelli and I will be back talking about the Rams draft house. A few ideas about what we're doing it again. Yeah. Well, and it's 15th year anniversary for Les Snead, I believe, and 10th year anniversary for Sean McVay as well this year. So I think they should do something a little throwback, but you'll have to tune in. Big teaser. So check that show out. Until next time, guys. Rams LAFB brought to you by FanDuel. Go check out FanDuel Sportsbook for all the hot stuff out there. Busting with the boys, the hot parlay with Nebraska Cornhuskers in there. You got like that. Big payout for that one. Put $10 in, they'll get you $1,300 or $130. Gotta like that. Thanks so much, Brittany Betts, for joining us. See you soon.
Bye, guys. Thanks, Ryan.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.